Alright, we have mapped successfully our operator to our preset manager. You can now close the editor window. Now, we will see in the storing option here, we have a way to store presets. The preset name that is used here is what is going to be stored with. By default, there's an automatic expression here that will increment every time you start something, and that is done for convenience. But of course, you can simply override this and type whatever preset name you want to use. I'm going to use the automatic mode. If I store now the current state of this operator, which is these specific parameters, this will increment to 1, but note that it will be stored on the current one. So if I press store, all those are now in preset 0. So if I go to triggering, I see indeed that preset 0 target has been created. The target is the preset I want to reference. Now let's change a little bit these parameters to something else. Perhaps moving it until I find something I like. Let's try to find a shape that is distinct, perhaps this one. Okay, I'm going to now go to store again. Now I have two presets, and finally I'm going to find another one, maybe this one. I'm going to store it preset 3. If I go to triggering, now I have all those options here. So I can simply select set when I want to move to a given preset. So if I want to move to preset 1 and press set, I'm just going to jump there, preset 0, set. All right. Now, there is another option, which is to use morphing. Morphing means move from the current state to the next using some kind of interpolation. The kind of interpolation that is going to be used is defined here, under curve and time. Time is how long it will take me to go from point A to point B, and curve is with what type of interpolation. So by default is linear. So if I go to preset 1, it will move from preset 0 to preset 1 in 1 second using a linear curve. And that is because when I stored preset 1, that was left on the default values, which are these values. So I'm going to morph now there, and you will see how this moves. All right. Now, if I move to preset 2, it will use exactly the same values because that's what was here at the moment of storing preset 2. But what if I want to move way faster, or way slower, or with a different curve? So I'm simply going to need to change for preset 2 my time. Let's say I'm going to change it to 5, and I'm going to use an S-curve. I can now overwrite this preset that is selected in target with those values and move back to preset 1. Preset 1 still has the value of 1 with linear, so if I can see that if I press morph. But now if I move from preset 1 to preset 2 and I say morph, it will use the stored values of the time I gave and the curve I gave, so this will move much slower. Alright, now we have seen we arrived to that preset. Let's go now to preset 0, set it also to the same time and the same curve. I'm going to override preset 0, I'm going to go to preset 2, and let's move there. Here we can see the effect more because the patterns are more different from each other. And this time I'm going to expose this so you can see what happens numerically. So if I morph now to preset 0, you will see these values changing, and slowly we get to the state of preset 0. Okay. Now we have another option, which is quite interesting if you want to explore parameters, which is I can randomize the parameters selected all at once using these two options. If I press set, it's going to use a randomization using the ranges stored in these parameters. So it is quite important that if you create custom parameters, you create sensible ranges for your values. In the case of frequencies, I have set everything to go from 1 to 20, an exponent from 1 to 4. So the preset manager is going to use those ranges to search for values. The type of distribution used is defined here. Uniform means all the values in that range have the same probability of occurring. Normal means the values around the center or the mean of that range have higher probability, and beta means the edges of that range have higher probability. So let's play with the beta, and I'm going to set randomly those values to search for something interesting. I like, for example, this one. I'm going to store it, and I'm going to search for another one. Perhaps this one. I'm going to store it. And I can do the same, but this time morphing, using this time and this curve. And of course, the distribution I just described. So if I morph, it's going to look for random values, but moving smoothly from one point to the other. All right. With these two functions, you can easily play and find interesting parameters for whatever generative content you have. In this example, I have created a very simple thing so that you can see stuff in action. But, of course, if you have a generative system that is more complex, this will become very powerful, since you can easily explore many different states quickly and store them with your preset system. Now, one more thing to know is that you can export the state of your presets at any point in time. So let's say I like all this. I can export this to a file. I will call this one presets test, save it. I will get a pop-up saying it's successfully exported. And then let's say I delete everything on my preset manager. So I'm going to clear this. It will warn you. I agree. And now I don't have anything anymore in my target. So they have been wiped out. But let's say I want to recover them. I can simply go to Options, import that JSON file I created, and then I will have everything once again. And I can see here in the triggering all my targets. All right. In the next video, we're going to see other types of parameters and what the preset manager does with those. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy my work and want to support future projects and access to all my tools, please consider subscribing on Patreon. It really helps keep creation and research going. You can also connect with me through my website, Instagram, or just drop me an email. I would love to hear from you. All links are in the description below. See you next time.